Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new day. It is Monday morning. It's I don't know if it's 8:30 or 9, but the real feel outside is like 4 degrees, so it's a little cold of a morning, but cloudy, and we are expecting more snow this afternoon. So I don't know how much we're gonna get, but we got a good amount the other day. Definitely 6 to 10 inches like they predicted. And so yeah. Alright, so I don't know what today's gonna bring. Just whatever happens today. So stay tuned for another Vlogmas day. And we'll see what happens today. Alright everyone, so it is lunchtime. And I love pizza, but with the vehicle that's not working right now, we can't really just go out and get a pizza. So we have some pepperoni in the freezer. We had a partial block of mozzarella cheese in the refrigerator, so I just shredded it all up. And I've got some flour tortillas, so I'm going to make a pepperoni pizza quesadilla. That's about as close to a pizza as I can get right now, and I'll take it. I love quesadillas, I love pizza, so why not put them together? Now, my pizza is not going to have pizza sauce. My pizza quesadilla will not have pizza sauce. I'm not a big fan of pizza sauce to begin with, so me eliminating that from my quesadilla is no big deal to me. And if I had pineapples, I would actually do a pepperoni and pineapple quesadilla, but I don't, because I love pepperoni and pineapple pizza. That's my favorite. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a pepperoni and cheese pizza quesadilla. And we've got this stuff in the freezer and the fridge, so might as well use it up before it goes bad. Well, the pepperoni probably would stay good for a while, but the mozzarella cheese has been in the fridge for a while, and usually the mozzarella cheese doesn't last as long. So I figured I better use it up and make myself a pizza quesadilla. Yeah, I think pineapple would be good on here. Drop it down in the comments if you like pineapple on your pizza. Obviously, to this you can add anything you want. Jalapenos, yellow peppers, mushrooms, peppers, onions, whatever. Like a regular pizza. And this is how I like my regular pizza, with the exception of pineapples, but I don't have any. So, alright, we're going to let that cook and have a pineapple or a pepperoni pizza quesadilla for lunch. Alright, we're going to go ahead and flip this. Nice and brown. That's going to taste good. It's smelling really good. And it looks like the mozzarella cheese is melting really nice. Alright everyone, here is our pepperoni pizza quesadilla. Alright, nicely brown on both sides. We're going to go ahead and cut that. You can see on the sides here the mozzarella just melting really nice. Alright. So it is paper plates for lunch. And depending on what we have on them, if it's just a sandwich or something, I'll rinse them off and reuse them. If it's something that like grinds into it, then I won't reuse them. Supper time is for regular plates. Lunchtime is for paper plates. Alright, so that's my pepperoni pizza quesadilla for lunch. And I'll be back for the rest of the day. All right, everyone. So I ate my lunch. Glenn is napping, so he hasn't eaten, and he's got a little bit of an upset stomach, so he's not really feel like eating anything. Nothing sounds good to him right now, but what does sound good to him is some Christmas cutout cookies. So he says, I have a taste for that. So I am going to make some Christmas cutout cookies, and I am going to make the full recipe, except I am going to cut the dough in. Last year I did it in 2 separate ones, but I think I could probably do 2 separate because I have in my notes that half of the dough made 3 dozen. So if I do 3 cuts, then I can make a couple dozen each time. So that way I don't actually have to make the dough again. We could have it today, and then we could have it another time before Christmas, or have it, we're going to have some at Christmas and then maybe save one for New Year's. I don't know. We'll see how often we want to have Christmas cutout cookies. Alright, so I didn't record this recipe last Christmas, so I'm going to record it this year. So this particular recipe, instead of butter or oil, this one calls for Crisco butter flavor shortening. And this actually made a big difference in the taste of the cookies, and it tasted delicious last year. And we said we wouldn't go back to any other recipe. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that recipe. Luckily, I wrote it down. Alright, so we're going to start with... So I'm probably just going to go slow, so bear with me. Alright, so I have 3 large, slightly beaten eggs. Okay, so I'm also going to use a hand mixer, so I'll use it in between. It's fairly quiet. I love this hand mixer. This is a KitchenAid hand mixer, and I love this thing. It's quiet and it doesn't pop the circuit. My other hand mixers pop the circuit here, and this one does not, so I love this thing. Alright, so we got eggs, slightly beaten, 3 large ones, and then we're going to add 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. So I've got a 1/2 cup measuring cup here. I'm going to just use that. So we've got 1/2 cup. There's 1 cup. And I just did half of that. So that's 1 1/4 cup. And we are actually going to mix after each ingredient. So I think I want to put something here, though. Every time I have to use a mixer, I put it down. I think I'm going to just use a paper plate. Alright, so let's get that mixed up. And to operate this, it has a slider button. So I just go that way, and then up and down to increase the speed. It goes up to 9. I don't know if it's quiet enough. For me, it's okay. Alright, I guess I can just lean it here. It sits up straight just like that really well too, so I think I'm going to just leave it like that. Alright, so now we're going to add in brown sugar, and it's going to be a 1/2 cup of firmly packed brown sugar. So let's get our brown sugar here. And I keep my sugars in all these storage tubs. Alright, I'm just gonna, oops, spilling brown sugar everywhere. I clean the counters, so it's okay if I pick it up and put it back on there. You can't really see that though. Alright, we're gonna pack it down. I don't know if you could see me over here. All right. Oh, there we go. I gotta wash my hands or rinse them off. Brown sugar's kind of sticky. Alright, so let's mix that in. So as you can tell, I am not the perfect, I don't have the perfect baking video here. Nothing is elegant. So yeah, it's going to be like however I do it every day. So I saw that little hard piece of brown sugar in there. Alright, I'm just going to take a spatula and just go through the walls and below just to make sure everything's getting in there. I cannot believe another Christmas season is here. Time is going so fast. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Christmas. You know I do. If you've been with the channel, you know I love Christmas. But that's as fast as it's going to be over. But we're not going to dwell on that. We're going to enjoy every day of the season. Alright, so we've got our egg, white sugar or granulated sugar, brown sugar. Now we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of milk. Alright, we'll go ahead and mix that in. Alright, so next thing I'm going to put on there, in here, is the Crisco. So we have 1 cup of the Crisco butter flavored shortening. So you're not actually using any butter or any oil in here. You're just going to use this if you decide to try this. And let's get that mixed in there. Alright, so I've got the shortening blended in there, mixed in there. So now I'm going to, I think the next couple of things I'll just put them all in there and then mix it. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and a teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm going to put all those in before I put the vanilla in. And I use this sea salt. I got a teaspoon of salt. Alright, got a teaspoon of baking soda. And a teaspoon of cream of tartar. I don't know if my teaspoon fits in there. Nope. Okay, we got a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And then we're going to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'll go ahead and mix that stuff together. Alright, now I'm going to probably disconnect this because the last thing I have is the flour. And the flour, well, no, I'll do the flour with this as well. So let me put some stuff away and I'll be back with the flour. Alright, so the flour, we're going to put 4 cups of flour in. There's 1. Okay, so at some point, I'm guessing I'm going to not be able to use the mixer. I don't remember how I did it last year. There's 2. Alright, there's 3. And 1 more. Okay, so for this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and use my hand to bring it all together because that's going to be the end of making our dough, and then we're going to refrigerate it. Alright, so we're just going to get in there with our hands now and just knead it until it comes to a dough. Knead it, mix it, whatever you want to say. Sure you get all the flour off the sides. Sticky. Alright guys, so I'm going to continue to do this until it comes to a dough. I was scooting it out of the camera. Alright, so I'll be back. So I'm going to go ahead and get some clear wrap. We're going to wrap this up and refrigerate it for a little while. Okay, so instead of refrigerating it all in one big piece, as I said, I could probably cut it into 3 pieces and get 3 different bakings out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in those separate pieces right now. Alright, so I'm just going to take like a size like this, possibly a little bit more. Yeah, this is perfect. You can see it's not sticking to me. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set this one in the refrigerator for our cookies later on. Alright, we'll finish wrapping the other two. Since it's just me and Glenn, we won't eat like this whole dough right away. So, and it makes it easier for me later on. I don't have to make the dough again. I'll individually wrap these two and then put them both in a freezer bag and then just put them in the freezer. And here's the last piece. Okay, so I'm just going to label this freezer bag. I always keep a Sharpie in the kitchen drawer here. So I'm just going to cut out cookie dough. And then I'll just put the month and year. But Glenn and I both know that this cookie dough will not go past New Year's. Well, one, it's a Christmas season, so we'll probably have Christmas cutout cookies a couple times by Christmas. At least one more time after today by Christmas, and then maybe on Christmas. Usually on Christmas, if we're going to make a cookie, Christmas cutout cookies are the ones we like to make. So there we go. And I'm just going to freeze these right away. So that's going to be it for this part. And then I'm going to clean up a little bit. I got to take Gypsy out. And then we'll be back in a little while to actually make the cookies.